With November coming to a close, it is time to revise my preseason predictions and expectations. It has already been an eventful and impactful season, so here are my thoughts almost a month into the season. My preseason national championship pick, Duke, has played good but not great. After watching them, I think they are the most talented team in the country, but they still have not reached their full potential, especially their defense. With both Cooper Flag and Kaman Maluach, they can be dominant inside. However, it seems like they rely more on Flag offensively and Maluach defensively. It's not just them though. Colin Knipple has been a superstar offensively for the Blue Devils, and Tyrese Proctor has been impressive as well. All four players scored 10 or more in the team's biggest game of the year against Kentucky, which was a loss. I think Duke will improve over the season as this young team learns to play with each other. The team they lost to, Kentucky, looks to be in really good shape, with an older, more experienced group of players that just haven't played with each other much yet. I think they're another team that can greatly improve as the season goes on. It's already very promising that they're able to beat such a talented Duke team so early in the season. Good news for Wildcat fans, it looks like the transition from Calipari to Pope will be an easy one. Now let's look at the top 5. Kansas is rightfully ranked at the top, with AJ Storr starting to make an impact, along with one of the best players in the country, Hunter Dickinson. The Jayhawks have had some close calls against both North Carolina and Michigan State, but for now it is enough for that top spot, as long as they can continue to get more contributions from players not named Hunter Dickinson. UConn, led by Alex Caravan, may have not played a very difficult schedule so far, but that will change soon. So it won't take long for us to figure out just how good the defending champions are. Gonzaga has been the most impressive team to start the year, with a dominant win over a top 15 Baylor Bears team, and tough wins against both Arizona State and San Diego State. Auburn has the most impressive win of the year so far, against 7th ranked Houston. The Tiger superstar Johnny Broome contributed 20 points, 9 rebounds and 2 assists in the win. 5th ranked Iowa State has not played a very tough schedule, similar to their football team. Both games against Auburn and Marquette coming up, that will change. So outside of the top 5 or even the top 25, here are some teams that are underrated and may be able to make a run in March. The first team that has stood out to me is Arizona State. The Sun Devils are undefeated to start the year and played a very close game with Gonzaga on the road. They also won a tough in-state matchup with Grand Canyon. Just like college football, I think Arizona State is underrated, but not for long, especially if they beat another team that I think is flying under the radar, which is New Mexico. The Lobos are 3-1 on the year, with a loss to 22nd ranked St. John's, with an impressive upset victory over the UCLA Bruins, and 70 or more points in each game. I think this is another team that should probably be ranked. Penn State and Utah State have been impressive offensively, both ranking among the top 5 in points and points differential, with Utah State being first in both categories. I talked about UCF earlier in the season, I'll admit for different reasons, but just like in the preseason, I think the Knights are better than people think. With a 4-0 record, it'll be interesting to see how they match up against Wisconsin. The Badgers' John Tonji, with 41 points against a 17th ranked Arizona Wildcats team, is among the most impressive players to start the year. Him, along with some more recognizable names like UConn's Alex Caravan, Auburn's Johnny Broome, and Duke's Cooper Flag, and Cam Jones, who is averaging 22.6 points, 6 assists, and 5.6 rebounds to go along with the first triple-double mark in history since Dwayne Wade in the 2003 Final Four. Then some less recognizable names like Creighton center Ryan Kalkbrenner, averaging 26 points a game, Utah's Gabe Madsen, averaging 4.5 threes per game, and from the Green Bay Phoenix, Anthony Roy, top 3 in points and 3-pointers. Finally, within the top 25, there are 3 teams I'd like to talk about. The first being Rutgers, led by the future first-round picks, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. At first, I was skeptical whether or not the duo could really lead the Scarlet Knights to an impressive season, ultimately ending in glory in March. But after these first few weeks, I feel more confident. The schedule has not been anything crazy, but with meaningful impacts from both Harper and Bailey to start the year, I think they can continue that into bigger games as the season goes on. 2 teams who have not been as impressive are the Alabama Crimson Tide and Purdue Boilermakers. Starting with Bama, with close wins against both Arkansas State and McKinney State, that was already a sign that this team might be a little overrated. Then in their first real test of the year against another, in my opinion, slightly overrated Purdue team, they lost. Alabama is still a very good basketball team. I just don't think they should be ranked in the top 5. Speaking of Purdue, I think while this program's done a pretty good job replacing such a talented squad from last year, that included Zach Edey, I also think that a surprisingly close win against Yale and a sizable loss to Marquette are concerning. Just like Alabama, they will have plenty of opportunities to prove themselves. But for now, I think they are another somewhat overrated team. So there you have it. A couple weeks in the year, and some interesting storylines are developing. Some top players are emerging, and brackets are getting closer to being formed, including mine, which I hope will be the first perfect one in history. But until then, please let me know what I missed, or what you have noticed about the college basketball season so far. And as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.